subscribers ask me the question of how do you get back into the game of love after a long relationship with someone spanning a decade, 20 years, or maybe even longer for some. Well, it's interesting because I was in a relationship at one point in my life for a long period of time, and um, unfortunately, uh, it dissolved. And to me, I was devastated myself because I believed at the time that the person that I was with was my partner for life, my wife for life, and apparently she didn't see it that way at some point in time. And what is even more challenging to an individual, as it was for me, and devastating as well, was there was never any open communication about uh, what her feelings or the other person's feelings were. But I was always sharing mine and expressing my feelings, but it was not reciprocated. But enough of that. Suffice it to say, the relationship dissolved over a period of time, and I was without a companion for a period of time, a life partner, I should say. Now, how did I deal with that? Uh, Aside of saying that it was not only challenging, difficult is another term, but I think I was sort of damaged by that particular situation. Now, each person's situation is going to be a bit different than the next, so use this sort of as a marker, if you will. It's not going to be the same resolution for everyone, or maybe similar, but just take it for face value. And then getting back to the question, how do you get back in the game of love? Well, one thing that you don't want to do is to go seeking love, because you're going to find what you're looking for, as the old expression goes. And oftentimes you find the wrong thing, you find the wrong individual. Uh, as the old expression goes, if you're looking for something, you're usually going to find what you're looking for. But it may not necessarily be the right thing, but you're finding what you're looking for. Uh, as I said, you don't go out trying to find a lover or a mate or a companion, because when you go out trying to find someone, chances are you're going to get something or catch something that's not going to be beneficial for you down the road. So don't be so desperate. Don't be so quick to jump the gun just because you're out of a relationship, and you just feel like you just have to have a partner or someone to talk to or someone to be a confidant and to share your life with immediately. Give yourself a break. Give yourself some time. And that's what I had to do. I had to give myself some time. And I didn't think to do this. It was sort of a normal occurrence. In other words, it just happened all by itself, because of the pain that I endured throughout the abuse in the relationship. And I, as a man, I have no problem saying that I was indeed abused by this young lady, and psychologically as well. Let me add that, more so than not. So it wasn't easy for me to go out and even consider having another partner, because of what I had went through. And you would think that women would be primarily the ones that would go through these types of things, but men experience these types of situations as well, as did I. So it was time and chance. It was just a period of time. I would meet young ladies along the way. And what's funny is that when you have standards and you know what you want in life, you're not willing to just accept anything. And that's pretty much the way I've been most or all of my life, not just wanting to accept anything. Because you can see trouble if you're really diligent enough and if you're really disciplined enough from your previous relationship. You should be able to see and discern trouble when it's coming. Body language, motives, agendas, the whole thing. You can see that coming. And what's unfortunate for some guys and even gals is that we want to accept the first thing that comes along. It's not good. And especially from a, let's say, sexual standpoint, if you just feel like that you have to satisfy that urge, I would advise you not to do that and probably go and invest in a toy. Seriously speaking, because it's not going to be a good outcome if you get with someone who does not truly care about you, the person. It's supposed to be mutual. And I would also advise that let's not jump in the bed the first time you meet someone. Don't do that. What you should do is get to know them here. Find out what their likes and dislikes are. See what type of character you are dealing with. See if the individual has anything of substance in common with you. Now, if all you want a relationship for is just sexual, then I don't know what else to tell you. Maybe you should click off right now. But if you want a partner for life, if you want a companion for life, then there are certain qualifications that they must have. That's the way I see it. Now, are you going to find someone exactly like you who thinks exactly like you? No, you're not. Never ever will. As a matter of fact, I would say it's like searching for a hair on a beach of sand, a hair that belongs to you. It's almost impossible to find someone who fits your specifications to the T. Now, they might have some similarities, they may have some things in common with you, but we must learn, ladies and gentlemen, to accept people's imperfections as well, because they have to accept ours. Don't think for a moment, just because there are certain criteria that you want your partner or future partner to meet, that they don't have certain requirements of you as well. So that's the give and take. So when you say, well, you know that I'm this certain way and so forth, it's like, well, then they say, well, you know that I'm this certain way. You should be able to discern that in the very beginning. You should establish that in the very beginning. For example, there are some people who don't smoke. They don't want their companion or a partner that smokes. And there are some people who don't smoke that don't mind, don't care if their partner smokes. See where I'm going with this? And then there are some people that are not very social and don't want to go out the house and go hang out in the clubs and go out to certain events with friends. And the other partner wants to do those things. Now, if this is okay with both partners, then you may have a functionable relationship. But make sure that you establish these things in the very beginning. And it's not to put the person or the other individual under a microscope. Don't do that. By no means do that. Just talk. It's really that simple. And it's okay to say no. And it's okay to say, I don't believe that this is going to work. It's okay to say that, well, that's not something that I'm into. And I would appreciate it if you respected this part of my life. And if they're okay with that and you know that they're sincere about it, then you might want to go with that. And another thing, while I'm on the subject, don't be so quick to move in with the other partner, either you with her or her with you or whomever. Don't be so quick to jump the broom, as they were, uh, because it's one thing to deal with a partner or potential partner at a distance, and you have your own residence, and then you meet to go to certain functions and go over one another's house. And it's another completely different thing when you move together and you're under the same roof 24/7, and you have to then deal with that person's likes, dislikes, their pet peeves, their habits. You follow what I'm saying? You don't want to do that in the very beginning. You want to get to know the other human being, the other person first, before you ever make a decision or decide to move in together and to even have a sexual relationship. You want to get to know the other person. It's really that simple. So, getting back into the game of love, um, in my conclusion, I want to say this. For whatever reason, you have fallen out of the game of love. And there could be a manifold uh, reason or amount of reasons or types of reasons that could have caused us to be no longer in a relationship. But for whatever those reasons may have been, and whoever you are, make certain that you're not too quick to try to find another person or another partner to replace the one that you lost or even never had. And make very certain that you're not too ambitious to have sex before you have gotten to know the other individual and where they are here, what their purpose is, what their aspirations are, what their goals are, what they're looking for in a relationship as it relates to their future and yours involved as well. You want to make sure that they have some fundamental beliefs that you both share. And you must be willing to accept, again, their imperfections, because we all have them. No one is perfect. We've all had some things occur in our lives. Some of us have had things happen in our lives that we're not proud of. Make sure that you're honest with your potential new partner. You don't have to tell them every detail of everything that you've ever done in your life. It's not important. The only thing that is important that you tell them is something that would affect them possibly if you were to get together in a relationship. If it's not going to affect them in a negative way, then they don't need to know it. Okay? Stop blabbing. Stop telling everybody everything about you and stop being an open book. They don't need to know how many partners you've had in your life, this kind of thing. They don't. But you need to know if they are a former drug addict or a former alcoholic, or if they've had some other destructive behavior in their past that could potentially be an issue in the future with the both of you. They need it. They need to tell you this. They owe it to you, and you owe it to them if you have that same baggage as well. Okay, this was Brother Teacher. I wish you great success in your present relationship and your potential future relationships. And stay prayerful. Don't be too quick to jump the gun. Take time to get to know the other person before you make any commitment to that person, physically, in a sexual manner, and moving in with that individual and opening up and sharing your heart with that individual when in fact they may not even care about your heart. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Much love. Take care.